being oppressive won't. So it's a balance.
Anybody else with questions? Yeah, that LLM that you mentioned, this was your law dissertation, which is LLM, which I had to look up, by the way, because I didn't know what an LLM was, because I'm not from...
Like most people who in sort of academic and other pursuits, you just assume that everyone knows all these things. Sorry.
Yeah. So that LLM was the topic of a recent misquote, as crypto media is often apt to do, where they said you quoted that Satoshi plagiarized you, and that was the
No, what I actually said was, in my proposal, there's actually some parts directly in the white paper. So in a little known, no one ever reads dissertation, there are parts of the white paper which I put as my thesis in 2007 and 8. And my comment there was, there are either two options for that, because I published this first. That means either I'm Satoshi, or Satoshi plagiarized me. No, I didn't plagiarize myself, and yes, I did do the other one.
So that was funny how the media would just quote the last part, like, you know, they were saying that.
They're not media though. We're talking sort of Twitter and whatever else.
Satoshi totally plagiarized you, Craig. He totally plagiarized you.
I know. I mean, they don't want me, so what they'll say is now Satoshi stole my paper, so that, yeah. I mean. Okay,
so let's go into our next our little intermission. Or if you can take your seat again. I don't know if you want to walk. Oh, you're still in the wine. Okay. Well, I'll leave this water here.
There is water in wine, by the way.
There is. So with other questions then. So let's. Okay. So given that, you know, the room, this is very rare event, because we do have, you know, you guys. Thank you very much for coming once again, especially on this short notice. I mean, this was thrown together after our last conference in Korea, and we didn't have a lot of time to do it. But for us to get a full house like this is very, very, a testament to, to your dedication to and interest in the space. So since we have an audience which is, not necessarily, ideological, not necessarily, a crypto head, right? From the outside, crypto is, from people who are just looking at cryptocurrencies from the outside, they'll see that there's multiple bitcoins, there's BTC, there's BCH, BSV, there's Ethereum,
copies of
Tezos, EOS, the list goes on.
And in the 90s there was petfood.com, there was travel.com.
So you can understand that a lot of people from the outside would say, well, okay, how do we differentiate? How can we make intelligent decisions about which cryptos are worthwhile looking into, which cryptos are not? And I'm assuming that the people who are asking these questions are asking it from a basis of not purely speculative basis. We're not trying to pick cryptocurrencies like they're equities or penny stocks, right? Because if you are, then, well,
if you are, I can't help you. Sorry.
Yeah, can't help you if you are. But if you are interested in cryptocurrencies because of its actual utility, and we do believe that cryptocurrencies need utility, otherwise they have no value, right? Because we're all sort of sound money advocates, I think. So what would you have to say to them? I mean, why, if you're causing all this sort of discord in the cryptocurrency markets and industries, I mean, why not just all play along and get together?
Because there shouldn't be a cryptocurrency market or industry. There shouldn't be 3,000 shitcoins. This concept of cypherpunks where everyone has their own coin, what the hell is that? I mean, honestly, I'm going to go up and exchange Crag coin, which will fluctuate in value, for David coin, so that I can go out there and then transfer that to 7-Eleven coin. And why don't we just go back to barter? I mean, the whole concept of economics and money has been fundamentally misunderstood by some of these people. At the end of the day, you want to have a system that is simple. So I'm actually going to say to all those cypherpunks out there with BTC, I'm going to say something they won't expect. Thank you. Because if it wasn't for you guys, I wouldn't have rushed around in the background, and I wouldn't be patenting, and I wouldn't be capturing things. You're not my competition, but you spurred me. As of today, I've got 827 patents in N-Chain published, and I've got 1,500 white papers, which will end up as, if I stop now, about 6,000 patents, and my aim is to get at least 10,000. And my competition is not any of the cryptos. They like to think so. My competition is IBM, and my competition are people like them. And IBM have fundamentally, utterly, completely taken the wrong way and misunderstood Bitcoin so badly, just like they did the internet. Sorry, IBM. And utterly screwed up because listening to these guys. Thank you, all you crypto sort of cypherpunks, because of you, I've managed to get that head start in a small company that has more patents than China, because, well, everyone's listened to the wrong people. So, again, thank you.
Okay, so one other, since we're on the cypherpunk topic, and the last question before we jump into your next talk, the cypherpunk take on cryptocurrencies, and they will. I mean, I can also probably bucket this into libertarian / anti-government.
Anarcho-socialist, yeah.
Anti-establishment.
Yeah, like I said, anarcho-socialist.
Anarcho-capitalist, right?
Socialist.
Or socialist. But they don't call themselves socialists because that's...
No, because they want to take over the word.
Yeah, because that word is too much attached to it, meaning to it now these days. But so the anarcho-capitalist / cypherpunk view of cryptocurrencies. I mean, that is a very, say what you will about it. That is a very strong mindset in the world these days, probably because of media, probably because of social media networks and people generally unhappy with their governments because of whatever reason, whichever government you live in.
Well, not everyone is.
Not everyone, but obviously we only hear the loud people because social media only amplifies the eccentrics and the zealots and the very loud fanatical of the society. But you will see that there is that movement where I hazard to say it's a continuation of the hippie movement of the 60s, but the anti-establishment movement and the whole anti-establishment sort of theme of cryptocurrencies. What you're saying is it's very an anathema anathema.
Anathema.
I can never pronounce that word right. I got to learn English. It's an anathema to all of that. It's the opposite of all of that, and that's obviously a very shocking view. It's a very different message that nobody before you has said. Why? What do you have to? Why did it grow?
Right when I was releasing Bitcoin in 2009, right at that point, e-gold was taken down. The principals were put in jail, and money was seized by the American government. So those people rolled into Bitcoin, going, "You can't seize my whatever." Then shortly after that, Liberty Reserve was taken down. And no one seems to figure out that Liberty Reserve is a cryptocurrency, and it is more decentralized than Bitcoin will ever hope to be. Liberty Reserve operated over 15,000 plus wire networks. Individuals in places like Sierra Leone, Malaysia, Middle East, etc., guys in stalls. It wasn't just the network. Everyone goes, there's one group running this. Well, there's one group called Core too, and there's one group called N-Chain, and there's one thing called the Ethereum Foundation. So that doesn't make a good argument. On the other hand, all of these things were taken down. Liberty Reserve was taken down with a action across 42 countries simultaneously. The French and the English agreed on something. That's very rare. The Russians and the Americans agreed. Putin and Trump both signed off on this. I mean, happily. And the Chinese agreed with everyone.
But so what would you say to those people who say got into cryptocurrency, maybe for the wrong reason, but they got into it because they feel that this is their way of resisting oppressive governments?
Good. Bitcoin's not a friendly thing for oppressive governments. Not because of the reason you're saying, not because it's anonymous, because it's not anonymous. No anonymous party ever made anything good, ever. When Rosa Parks got on a bus and fought racism in the South in America, she did it knowing she'd be arrested. When Gandhi stood up there and got arrested, he did it as Gandhi. When Malcolm X protested and got shot, he did it with people knowing who he was. When Reverend King stood up there to talk about oppressive racism and all the problems in America at the time, he did it as himself. He was not anonymous. No one anonymous has ever changed anything for the better. People who want to change things have to do it with transparency, with light. Those things in the darkness, those things in the dank, sort of hidden places are never good. Those things that are out there, that show courage, that show people willing to stand up and fight, they're what matter. And that's what Bitcoin will deliver. Imagine if you're a cryptocurrency that's anonymous. You help oppressive governments. Those with power, those with mafia ties, will want your system. Those, like the Malaysian president, siphoning over $5 billion from a fairly poor country. The people in Africa, in poor countries, siphoning money into international banks. Bitcoin is transparent. If you can't do that, it's a new world. It's a scary world to these people because it's transparent.
So it sounds like it sounds like what you're saying, and is that the benefits of anonymity, which is what a lot of folks in cryptocurrency who, like for instance Zcash, Monero, a lot of these anonymous coins, the benefits of anonymity that they're touting, that they're basically trying to get people to support, is actually it's not even a double-edged sword. It sounds like you should be anonymous because it protects governments.
It's a cancer.
Yeah.
It is malignant.
Because the anonymity, the benefits of anonymity, which you think you get against an oppressive government, it will be multiplied 100-fold by the government itself.
Plato wrote about this when he put on his little thing as Socrates. He wrote about the Ring of Gyges. The Ring of Gyges was the first written down idea of the magic ring that makes you invisible and powerful. And the person who found it gained power through murder, and he raped, and he stole. And knowing that he had nothing to ever fear, became a monster. Those who are anonymous become monsters. They have no one to answer for. Governments with nothing to fear become monsters. We have terrorism to fight. And rather than doing it with human intelligence and things that work, we're now fighting back a system of anonymity with anonymity. And GCHQ and NSA and the Russian guys and all the rest